Hello, everyone. On today's episode, we are going to be talking with singer-songwriter Zachary Ian, featured on WKTR, as well as being a 2022 and 2023 gold record recipient. Zachary has been making waves here in the Virginia Beach area for his music and message through singing and songwriting, and we are so excited to chat with you today. Zachary, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so many of our guests, including myself, have relocated to the Virginia Beach area later on in life. And I understand you actually grew up in the area. So I'd love to start off the conversation to ask, what was it like for you growing up here in the Virginia Beach area?
It's been really, really fun, actually, growing up next to the beach, and the atmosphere that it's given me. It's really been a big influence on my music, especially with the indie coastal vibes. It influenced me in a way that a lot of artists I noticed don't usually experience or see in their music. And the community has been absolutely amazing. The city, it's been a great city to grow up in. And yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Virginia Beach is one of those unique places, as I'm sure our guests who have been listening to us for any period of time know. We've had a lot of artists and arts on the show lately, and it's been some great conversations about just the diversity of Virginia Beach. And I understand for you, Zachary, one of the unique things that for your music career is you started off pretty young, getting your first guitar at 10. I'm curious, what kind of guitar was it?
That's a good question. I actually do not remember that. I know it was a small body. I do believe it was a small body Yamaha. So
Yeah.
we have full bodies and then we have the small bodies. But due to my size, I was only 10.
Right. Yeah.
We
It's got
had
to have a small body guitar.
right. We had to
Yeah.
find bits, and that's what I actually started, learning and playing on.
Yeah, and obviously you started playing right away. You liked it, and I'm curious for you. Did you ever have, or when did you have, a full realization of like playing guitar and making music, you know, really meant something to you and really could change the way in which you kind of engaged and interacted with the world? Was there a certain point? Did it just like happen over time? What was that like for you?
Yeah, sure. So it really happened over time. I had to, learn very well before I set myself out there and sent my music out and get a contract with a distributor and all that stuff. But I think it was at 20, what I think I was about 20, 21, 20, 21 years old when I said, okay, I do believe this is what I'm being called to do at this point in time. And it was kind of just a, tap on the shoulder. I was like, all right, let's go ahead and get that out there. Let's send this music out. Let's start applying to places and writing songs. Cause I was writing songs since I was, 15 years old.
Yeah.
And it took about 5 years for it to really set in and say, okay, well, maybe this is something that I can do. Maybe this is something that people will listen to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you specifically used the word a calling. And I'm curious, leading into our next question, what role does faith play in your music and, of course, in your daily life?
Sure, yeah, faith is a major part. Faith is you. If you don't have faith, it's an amazing thing, and God is number one. I truly do believe because I feel like that calling was towards music. I grew up, in the church, and I grew up musically with God, and it was almost like a realization that I felt like I need to send my music out there. I felt like I need to, reach out to the people and see what their response would be. What if they like the music, especially with the Virginia Beach coastal community and the influence in that. So
Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever questioned that calling or, music? Because you've been doing it at such a young age. And now that you've, kind of had shed that adolescent mindset, now you're kind of in the, with the business side and also the music side as well. Have there been any moments of you questioning, like, okay, is this what I'm going to do forever? If this is this just kind of like a thing I'm going to do until I figure out what I want to do next? How has that process been for you? Is in figuring out, those next right steps?
absolutely, yes, I have questioned it plenty of times. I've questioned it a lot actually, and I feel like that's more of a career question because everybody questions their career. Is this what they want to do with the rest of their life? And um, if uh, I felt like if I don't question it, it wouldn't be normal, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Well,
And
it's important, yeah, especially music is you know, doesn't necessarily always equate to a lot of money as well as in the arts do traditionally speaking. I mean, it's more um, more focused on the passion and the work in the community more times than not. So yeah, definitely an interesting question for sure.
correct, yes, that was a very good question. To question my career and question my music calling, but yes.
What stood out to you as like being those things that kept you going though? Because like we find things that may give us inspiration for a little bit, but it may like fade away. Has there been maybe a constant reminder throughout this journey that you've had to just reinstill like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, this is what I'm supposed to be creating in this season of my life?
um I I do believe so. Yeah, it's definitely been a struggle to get to start out and work those long hours. Wake up and all that. But once you put the work in, it's more of like, okay, I put all this work in, and I think it's just to go from here, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. So solidifying yourself not only as an artist, but also as in a lot of ways, more of a less of a hobbyist and more of a traditional, business route that venues can book and people can have at events and things like that, which I'd love to dive into next. You're not only a musician, but also have a ZI management company. Do you feel having a business mindset helps you create more work and better work, or do you feel like it holds you back? And if so, in what ways?
It was something we had to do because all of our music is copyrighted through
Yeah.
in DC, but because due to the copyright management and all that stuff, we did have to make a brand to where we had to come up with a name and go from there because we are selling merch, we are booking, we are creating all this copyrighted music, but the business aspect of it, growing up in Virginia Beach, it was we wanted to come up with something local, so we went through local businesses to create our merch, sell the t-shirts and sell the long sleeves or whatever we are making, and we did go through local avenues to book venues and all that stuff because getting a contract with a national company wouldn't be an aspect to where growing up here is it wouldn't I don't feel like it'd be beneficial to the community to show
Yeah.
them that we would want to stay local if
Yeah, you want to pay tribute to kind of the origin story of your business in a lot of ways, and that's one of the reasons we want to have you on the show, Zachary, is because you have been consistently, focused in and around the community. I'm curious, in what ways has your music evolved over the years, and what factors have influenced that evolution and changes?
wow, that's a very good question. So I actually started out training in a choir when I was young, first guitar at 10, kind of moved on from there, and so I got the foundations of singing and very strict uh, music lessons and very every single day, training vocals, training guitar, training piano, training all this stuff. And it evolved from a basic foundation um, to learning, chords and then moving up through the teenage years and discovering different types of music to where it affected the way I uh, change my voice, change the types of tones, and uh, I do believe that I did finally found the correct voice once I got older, and the correct tone and the correct instruments to play and uh, throw it in with the indie scene with the coastal community. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, do re mi fa so is very different from very wide, very flat, sounds that you create traditionally as compared to, the more formative years of art class and music, which is more, round vowels and very punctual, and no S's or T's popping out at you, in those ways. So uh, I know you've mentioned nature before and meditation. I want to dive into that next because we are positioned beautifully here in the Virginia Beach area to not only have access to, mountains and beaches and trails, but a lot of like, pretty remote places, although it is a large city, it's the largest city in Virginia. Then we still have those pockets and those little hidden gems we have tucked away to get some peace and quiet. Can you describe maybe a specific natural setting that has inspired one of your songs, or perhaps a place that you've gone to? You don't have to disclose the place, of course, but a place that you continue to go back to and gain, certain inspiration or insight from.
Yes. So there are so many beautiful spots between here and the mountains and everywhere. So we did for music videos, we did a lot of cinematography here, most of it here in Virginia Beach in the kind of the coastal area. So we used drones and, a lot of different types of camera equipment to film those music videos. And it was a process, but we did finish those. And I wanted to. So when I wrote the songs, it was I wanted to put the aspect of the coastal community, of love, of peace, of all this good stuff. And then when I had the vision of making these music videos, I wanted to put the sand, the sun, the sea, the the way Virginia Beach is just a beautiful area to live and film in. Um, Even the swamp, even the trees, even the we even have some lakes here,
Yeah.
uh, and I wanted to incorporate those into my music as well.
Absolutely. I mean, music and its process when it's done correctly is layers upon layers of art. It's not just a single sheet of music, right? It's a message. It's layers of beauty and introspection. And I think, allowing the natural setting of Virginia Beach is an excellent way, to really incorporate that into, your sound and into the conversation. When it comes to conversations of music, how do you see your music contributing to, more broader cultural or societal conversations that may not always fall in line with that, you know,
Right.
introspective sound that you have?
So I try to stay very far away from the music that the world puts out. A lot of it is not handwritten by the artist. Unfortunately, I'm not saying it's bad music, but I do handwrite all of my songs, and I feel like using going out and getting a contract or signing to a label or all this other stuff isn't necessarily a bad thing. But personally, I choose to stay independent and take take the coastal community that I love and incorporate it once again, into the music uh, that I produce and yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like you would be able to make more music if you had other people helping you write? Or do you feel like the message of the music would be lost in translation?
That's a good question. I feel like it would benefit, but I do feel like once I go back and listen to the released song, I would want to change things because I have been in plenty of bands and stuff like that when I was younger, and we all had different ideas. We all wanted to do different things with this song. We all wanted to do uh, different stuff with the music,
Right.
and it's not a bad thing, but that's why I kind of strayed off from um, working with others so I can focus on the songwriting myself. Because when I go back and listen to it, or if it pops up on the feed or the stream or whatever, I say, okay, well I took that word, and that's where I want that word, and I'll be happy with the song.
Yeah, yeah, and I know for you, Zachary, we'll talk about this next. You know, it's more than just a single word or melody in a song. It's being able to be an independent artist and support those independent projects that you are so passionate about, including how you integrate environmental advocacy into your daily business operations, which I'd love to steer the conversation into next. What have been some of your more recent environmental advocacy projects, and of course, in what ways do you like to leverage your business side of the music industry to help propel and inspire other businesses to take care of the world and the waterways around us?
Sure, yeah. So we use, as I stated before, we use local companies, and instead of going out and using, say, a T-shirt or merch company online that uses all this unnatural resources and just dumping all these toxins into the environment, what we do is we take our local companies that do make merch, that do make, hats or mugs or whatever, and they are small minded, and they take the natural side of things and they incorporate it into their printing onto the shirts, natural, say natural ink,
Right.
um, and it's much better for the environment, and it's we're not putting out all these pollutions into our waterways and into the system of our oceans, and so that's where our environmental healthy research comes in.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is incredible because a lot of times it's more expensive to do that as opposed to going for the cheaper, uh, less eco-friendly option. It's like, well, if you cut the bottom line, you save some dollars here. But you guys, and I believe why in a lot of ways you like that independent artist approach, at least from the outside looking in, is because you do have that creative control on the business front and also the personal front, and you also surround yourself with great team members as well. Yeah,
Yeah, especially.
yeah. Oh yeah, no, I was talking about your producer and manager that you work
Oh
with
yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, yes.
Yeah. So when it comes to the future plans or goals that you have for expanding your brand and messaging, or may not necessarily expanding it, but continuing to solidify the values that you're putting out there, Zachary, what can folks expect for you in future projects or developments?
More shows, a lot more merch. We are currently looking at expanding our venue options, more to out of the state. That way we can expand our audience.
Right.
Uh, we can, say book a start here in the beautiful Virginia Beach, and maybe book a show in the Outer Banks just for its coastal community, um, Eastern Shore, up in Maryland, because there's DC. There's plenty of beautiful venues to expect in the future. More merch. We are going to start putting out wine tumblers. Yeah,
Very, very fun.
yes.
Nice.
So that should be on the website soon, and um, that's what we're looking forward to. And yeah,
Wonderful. Well, Zachary, we really appreciate your time and joining in for the conversation today. We at Discover Virginia Beach love having conversations with locals to give people some ideas on what to expect or what they can participate during not only the summer months but also all year round. So we're so glad to have that conversation with you, Zachary. We do have one final section of the show to give you the opportunity, and we roll out the red carpet for you to give you a final message or word to share with the audience, but in order to get there, you have to get through some rapid fire questions. Should you accept, you get the red carpet. Are you up for the challenge?
absolutely.
Lovely, lovely. All righty. First, rapid fire question. What what is your songwriting process? If you could describe it in one word, what would that word be?
Wow. Um, Patience.
Ooh, patience. Why patience?
Patience is a massive influence on songwriting, because you have an idea, you start writing stuff down, and then you think it sounds great that day, and then the next morning you wake up and it's you realize it's just not what you want. So it's definitely, it takes a while, and patience is the word that I would describe.
Great response. I just thought music just came to you when you smell a certain smell. You get the full song, just charted up in your mind. It sounds like it's a little bit more of a process than that.
Yeah.
What's your go-to snack while recording or just like working on the music side of your business?
um, Cheetos.
Cheetos? The
Yeah,
regular
regular Cheetos.
Cheetos or like the flaming hot Cheetos?
No, no flaming hot. It's definitely regular Cheetos.
Regular Cheetos. Love it. And last question. Oh, sorry. Second to last question. Your favorite song to perform live. Doesn't necessarily have to be your own, but it also can be your own as well.
Wow. I would say that it'd have to be trust. It would have to be trust because I get so into it when I'm live. It's just so I get so into the music and so into the crowd that it's such a great feeling. But it would have to be trust.
Yeah, it's a great song. And for those of you, after you check out this episode, go check out Trust. We'll put the link in the show notes below. But yeah, Zachary wrote that wonderful song. We'd love to have you check it out. Um, Zachary, if you could collab with any artist, and we'll use current because part of the thing I love to do at Discover Virginia Beach Podcast is to slide into DMs, email blast thousands of people, and hopefully get more folks on the show. And
Yeah.
if we can make a connection happen there, we'd love to make it happen. If you could do a music collaboration with any artist currently, who would it be and why?
Oh man, there's a lot of them. Oh man.
We'll take a few. I'm gonna get my notes here. I'll send them DMs after this interview.
I did have an email come in from Ryan Bingham's, one of his, I don't know if it was a tour agent or a booking manager, but I did have an email come in, and I responded, but I never did hear back from them. So that Ryan Bingham has been a massive influence on my music when I first started. So I think it would have to be him.
I love it. Ryan Bingham. So yeah, you have to check out his tour date, see if he's coming to the Virginia Beach area. I think he's in like Dillon, United States. I don't even know the Dillon Amphitheater, wherever that is.
I'm not sure. No.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, love it. Awesome. Last question for you. Zachary, what is your favorite part about living and working here in the Virginia Beach area?
The ocean. The ocean. I can swim whenever I want. I can fish whenever I want. It provides a massive influence on my music, and I absolutely in love with it.
Excellent. Zachary, you have made it to the end of the rapid fire question section. Congratulations. And without any further ado, the red carpet is all yours. Please share any final words or messages you want to leave the audience with. The floor is all yours.
Sure. Yeah. If you guys are watching this, if you guys are listening, the main thing to do is if you have a dream, if you have that success in your heart and what you do, go for it. Go for it and strive with it with all of your heart. You got to have faith. You got to have trust, and it will come to you no matter what you do. You have to try for that dream, and I promise you it will come to you.
Well said. Zachary, thank you again so much for your time. We've enjoyed the conversation. And of course, thank you to our dedicated listeners for checking us out on another episode of the Discover Virginia Beach podcast. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Be sure to tune in every week and let us know you like the episode by hitting the like button or the follow button. And we'll hope to see you all on another episode very soon. Bye for now.